Hi and welcome to the Silverstone Museum YouTube channel. If you're liking the new content, grab us a like and grab a subscribe. Please also, if you've got any questions about any of the content, because you've probably noticed we've been revamping things a little bit. If you've got any questions, drop them in the question box below and we will come back to you. I'm really pleased. We've got this IndyCar exhibition here, and the first car we're going to focus on in a little bit of detail is the car that's already caused a bit of buzz on social media, and certainly I've had a lot of emails and questions about it. It's this Nigel Mansell's Lola T93, the car that he used when he raced in IndyCar in the Indy 500 in 1993. Now, a bit of history to it, a very, very special year. He won the Formula One World Championship in 1992. We have that car here at the Silverstone Museum that our visitors can come and see. But he then went on the following year to race in IndyCar. He won the IndyCar title, the only driver ever to win the two titles back to back. And he raced in the Indy 500, a particularly challenging race. And this is the car he used. And it is an absolute stunner. Now, I've been lucky enough to get up really close to this and have a look. And I'm really delighted that we can now bring the camera in and show you a couple of things. First thing you notice when you look at it is this, the iconic red 5. Nigel Mansell would have gone nowhere without this number in red. It was the thing that jumped out on his Formula One car. We look a little bit more detail at the front. You'll notice we've got very, very small front wings. Now, the reason for this is, for those of you that are really tech savvy will know, you want to get a bit of downforce, but at Indy, it's all about high speed. You know, we're doing over 230 miles an hour. So we don't want to create much drag. So these small front wings give us a bit of downforce, but don't create a lot of drag. These little stalks here were so that if the driver came into the pits and wanted a little bit more, a little bit less downforce, or change the balance of the car, they would twist these quarter a turn at the time, and they would move them fractionally to change the downforce. And you could change the speed of the car, and over the course of the race, the car setup would change. The fuel levels would obviously go up and down because refueling was allowed. Tyres would change, the circuit would change, the air temperature, so different adjustments can be made at different times. If I get Jess to just move the camera along a little bit, we've got our pretty standard wishbones and things on the suspension here, but you'll notice we're not using carbon fibre yet in 1993. These are all steel. If we just come over this way, we're starting to use a bit of aero there. So we've got these barge boards on the side of the car. Obviously, a note to the drivers there, not stepping on them to get into the car. They used to have a little step inside. They are quite fragile. If we just bring the camera inside the car, this is one of my favorite bits that we get to do on these videos. We've got a couple of features. So you can see the carbon tub just in here. You can also see the chassis plate, and you can see where you've got the T93, and this is Lola. So this car actually has been in the UK before. It was built and made here in Huntingdon by Lola Cars, a company that are just having a bit of a rejuvenation. Other thing you can see, quite simple steering wheel, simple dashboard there. You've got a manual gearbox with the manual just here, and it is absolutely lovely. Not really been restored. It's still in its original condition, and it looks great. As we move the camera along, just about here, you'll be able to see the huge fuel filler nozzle. So the fillers went in here, they will be there, and they're that side of the car because obviously that's where the team would jump over the wall to do the pit stop. We've got this rather strange contraption that's sticking out the top. Now this is the pop-off valve. Now what I will do in the future is a little bit more of a technical in-depth dive to these, but these were quite controversial at the time in IndyCar, and they were there to limit some of the engine power, and we'll do a little bit of tech speak on some of these functions a little bit later on. As we move the camera a little bit further, you can see things are really, really exposed at the back here. You get a really great view if you're visiting the museum. You've got things like the brake lines being hidden inside the suspension wishbones here. You've actually got quite a high mount to the gearbox. So I'm giving Jess a bit of a challenge there, getting the camera right in. But the gearbox is certainly mounted a bit higher than they are in Formula One cars. And the other thing you'd notice in comparison to a Formula One car is this rear wing. It's much flatter, much smaller. You've got the little gurney flap, Just on the back here, you can feel it. I don't know if Jess can get the camera in there close. You can see the tiny little gurney flap, just aluminium flap just here. But you've got the nice small T-tray rear wing there. The car is lovely, and it's lovely to be able to compare it to things like the FW14B that we've got here. And I know we've done other videos on that, and we will do a bit of a back-to-back stem comparison of the two cars in the future. If you're visiting the Silverstone Museum in the near future, you'll get to see these cars. We've got our collection of Indy cars here until the end of September, beginning of October. So get in over the summer and get up close to some iconic cars that have not been in the UK and certainly not been here as a collection before. Just got to give a shout out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum. It's been great that they've been able to loan us these cars, and to DHL in all of their assistance in bringing the cars from Indianapolis over to the UK. It's greatly appreciated. Come down and see us. And again, if you're liking this content, you've got any questions, grab us a like, grab a subscribe, and drop a question in the box below.